I like to refrain from making sweeping blanket type of statements, but this one is a top option, sub $2,000 for a great Swiss-made watch. And I know that segment is saturated with some excellent brands, some specifically great models. I'm thinking of Longines, I'm thinking of Hamilton, I'm thinking of Tissot, I'm thinking of Christopher Ward. And I know a lot of you have other brands, other models that you would include as a top sub $2,000 watch on the market. And so I'd like to talk about what makes this specific Tissot PRX Chronograph great and compelling. And then I will also mention the shortcomings because this is not a perfect watch, although it is a very strong release. Now, I enjoy the 42 millimeter diameter case. I find this powerful when it comes to the wrist presence. I think this has a very angular design, very late 1970s. And, personally, as a fan of some of the music, some of the film from that area, I think this watch is tailor-made to me. I like the funkiness here. I like the presence. And this does have an integrated bracelet. I find the marriage between the angular case and the angular bracelet very cohesive. So I know some collectors, they really dislike integrated bracelets because it will limit you when it comes to playing with aftermarket straps. But when you have a great case, a great bracelet pairing like this one is, you're not tempted to want to play with this on other strap options. So that's a moot point for me. I love the finish work here. I like how the case has vertical brushing on the top of the angular case. I like the high polished chamfered edges. And I also enjoy how this vertical brushing is applied to the silver dial. In some lights, it looks like a white dial. In other lights, you see the graining and you see the opaline or silver color. And it's a very beautiful base. It's a nice contrast with the blue. So technically, it's not a real Panda. It's kind of like a blue Panda, but it does kind of look black in some situations and then blue in others, even down to the printing on this dial. And that's another thing that I enjoy. I like the fact that the watch has a 9, 3, and 6 o'clock sub-register layout. I just personally find it a little bit more balanced visually than the more traditional 12, 6, and 9 o'clock layout for a Valjoux base movement. This also has gold bar-shaped function pushers. These are larger, it fits this bold linear case very well, and I find it a little easier to operate. And this watch has nice action. It is a cam lever actuation system as opposed to a vertical clutch, but for the retail price, I'm actually really impressed with this movement. Now, the watch has a sapphire crystal with inner applied anti-reflective coatings, and I think too many watch brands neglect this important enhancement. It really helps with minimizing reflections in natural light, and you can see the details of the dial to a higher degree of clarity. And when you have a beautiful, funky dial like this one, this blue Panda, I definitely want to see it to a higher degree of clarity. The watch has 100 meters of water resistance, and that is more than enough for me to use as a daily wear type of watch. Now, if I know I am going to be going snorkeling or rafting or diving, then obviously I'm going to pick out a dive watch or a G-Shock for that type of activity and not wear a chronograph. But for a daily driver watch, this is more than enough for me. I'm not afraid to get this watch wet. In fact, I did own the blue reverse Panda color configuration when that first released, and I washed that under the tap multiple times. So I wouldn't worry about the water resistance of this watch, even though this is a push-pull crown. There is actually a quick set flush date pusher on the 10 o'clock side of the case. So there are holes for water to seep in, but again, 100 meters of water resistance, that's enough for daily wear use. Within the watch, though, is a Valjoux-made movement, the A05.H31 caliber. It's a modification of a Valjoux 7750 base movement, and this has very pleasant finishing. I'm actually surprised at how much pearling and polishing is at play here with the execution, and I like seeing this through a display back on the reverse of the watch. I like the skeletonized gray tone rotor. This has 27 different jewels. It beats at 4 Hertz and has 60 hours of power reserve, which I find adequate for a watch in this price segment. Of course, I would like a little bit more Personally, not everybody, appreciates a long power reserve, but I do. And again, I'm impressed with this movement, especially at the retail price. Now, going in on the dial on a macro level, you will note the execution is very clean, very tidy, very crisp. I like the blueprinting. I like the sunken sub registers. I like the date placement here and how that blends into the silvered linear grain finish of the dial. So this, again, very attractive under the macro lens. Let's talk about shortcomings of the watch, though. This does not have a milled clasp. This does not have a quick micro adjustment. This does not have any specific anti-magnetic components to the movement. And then because of the Valjoux movement, there will be rotor wobble that is noticeably loud when this watch is not fully wound. Now, those things are a little bit ticky-tacky in my opinion. Certainly not a deal breaker, but I would definitely enjoy, say, a silicone hairspring, or I don't know if you can really cut down on the noise of the rotor wobble. But I would really enjoy a milled clasp. I would really enjoy a quick micro adjustment system that does not need a tool to make the positional changes. That would make this watch very heavy. It's already very hefty as is with this bracelet. But personally, I like a hefty watch. I like a heavy watch from time to time. So that's something that I would be interested in, but I don't think everybody else would be interested in a milled clasp with a quick adjustment system. Again, just on the chronograph, perhaps on the three-hander, the Powermatic 80 or the quartz variation, but this one is quite a bit heftier than both of those two executions of the PRX. Now, lastly, let's talk about price. This watch retails for $1,895. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, that is a very competitive price segment with some excellent brands, excellent models at play in that price segment. And even at full retail, I think this offers quite a bit for the money. But fortunately, there is a discount code that I can share with you for a Tissot authorized dealer called Saltzman's Watches. They have great customer service. I have worked with them on and off for years now. So if you're interested, the code is in the description. That will take this watch down to around $1,500, $1,600. And for that price, it is almost criminal. It's almost, it's quite the value. It's a little crazy to consider, when you're looking at the design, when you're looking at the details, the presence, the finishing, the Valjoux movement, etc. So that is in the description for those that are interested. And yes, that discount code applies to other brands that are on the website. So again, links below. Reach out with questions. Any questions that you may have, I'll do my best to answer those. Please leave me a like if you found value in this video and subscribe to my channel for more varied watch content. Thank you.